to see the Florida State quarterback pushed the referee?
Yes, I was watching that.
What's the penalty, by the way?
No penalty at all.
Yeah, they didn't call anything, but they have everybody has a referee now, announcer-wise, on the crew, and the guy that ESPN had in studio said that he should have been thrown out of the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, this guy gets away with murder.
What happens nowadays is, for those of you that didn't see it, is that with the teams want to go so fast on offense, they want to hurry up and run up there as fast as they can.
I understand that.
And snap the ball. So what happens is, if you substitute on offense, then you have to allow the defense a chance to substitute. And you see this happen all the time now, that the referee or the umpire, depending upon the conference, the umpire is behind in the ACC, I noticed.
Yeah.
They go up underneath the center and basically stand under the center and don't allow them to snap the ball until the defense has had a chance to substitute. Well, Winston, knowing what was going on, I don't think Florida State substituted. And the official was there in the way. So he took him and he basically moved him out of the way. And it should have at least been 15 yards. I'll go that far.
Yeah, true. You're true.
But
you know what? I don't think that's right. If a team is playing that hurry-up offense, then, I mean, you never seen that before where, they would stop the game to let both teams do that.
No.
I mean, if the offense is running that, then you know what? You should practice on your defense so you could counteract that.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think they're ruining a lot of sports with these rules and too many rules, too many regulations.
Yeah, they change, and especially the NFL with that competition committee, they change. I swear that they change rules just so they justify their existence as a committee.
Exactly.
Okay, here's what we're going to change now, and it's like, let's love it.
But Tony, the Redskins are still the Redskins.
Yeah, it's kind of died out. It's kind of died out for a while.
You know what I heard last week?
Yeah.
I heard the Sioux Nation change their names.
To what?
To the Washington Redskins.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I saw Snyder had one of the leaders of one of the tribes, and I don't remember which one it is, as his guest in his box at the game, and the guy, said, "I don't really have any problem with any of this." Now, then again, he also got flown into Washington on the arm and got a chance to be at the game for free, so he probably did enjoy it. But that's kind of, it's died away while they have other more pressing issues to go after, like how long do you suspend somebody for disciplining their child?
After all this, the Cleveland Indians, after all these years, I just don't understand it. Some lawyer out there looking to make a buck or something, probably,
They're good at it.
That's now. Did you watch? I don't get called for anything. Patriots yesterday.
I did watch a lot of it. Yeah, I didn't watch. It was a rough day because I didn't want to watch the Bengals winning, so I wasn't watching much of that. But I did see them play, and they look really good right now. And as I said to somebody yesterday, it's a good thing they're not having the Super Bowl on Thanksgiving because they'd win.
Yeah.
I guess them and the Packers would be in it, and we'd see what. But unfortunately, we're still a pretty long way away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's amazing what they get away with.
Well, like what?
Well, defensive backs grabbing, holding, guys going past 5 yards, hitting them, and no flag. The linemen holding, and all kind of stuff.
But there's supposed to be safeguards with this stuff. You've got officials sitting up in the press box who keep score on other officials on the field. Yes. I know a guy that did this. On the college level, anyway. But I mean,
they do that at every level.
But I'm saying
it. But I'm telling you, you watch that. I've been watching a few of their games, and they get away with murder. Especially Rivas. Oh my God, he's always home. The receiver and that, and there's nothing called.
The sharp announcers will point out before the game starts, depending upon the crew, and the sharp guys will look at the crew and see how many, they rank, and they'll get stats in the booth of how many flags are thrown by each crew, and that'll tell you before the game starts a lot of times
what you can get away
with. What you're gonna see, and it happened with the Steeler game last Monday night. Same thing. That they had mentioned early on that this crew doesn't throw a lot of flags So you need to know, like you said, Bob, you need to know what you're going to get away with and the lengths you can go to, especially defensive back now, because if you sneeze on somebody, you're going to get a flag now. But, and they let a lot go in that game on Monday night, and that, and for nobody's favor, just the way it was called. And, you need to, I think that the coaches need to know this. They need to instruct their players to this before they go into the games that, hey, this crew's thrown the most flags. They've thrown the most illegal contacts or defensive holdings. So you guys got to get your hands off, stuff like that.
Yeah, the Steelers have trouble enough running their offense and defense.
Well, believe me, the Steelers need whoever throws the least amount of flags for their defense, trust me, because they need to hold.
Yeah, well, you see some of these penalties, and the official's standing right there looking right at it and just turns his head.
I'm trying to think of the game that I did watch where a guy got tackled high and the arm went right up, and the head bobbed back. I can't think of it now, but I was surprised that there wasn't a flag thrown.
Well, one thing Tony, in a Patriots game, that if Tom Brady ever gets touched, that there's a flag flying there, or at least.
Oh, please,
You can't touch him. Because he is.
But you know what? I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but I'll give him credit. They seem to bring the right guy in.
He's unbelievable, though.
Yeah, I don't know. He can't do it himself. He has to have a great coaching staff, and scouting.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but look at the line he has as well. They were showing replays on some of the passes that he had. It was one of the halftime reports. He had all day.
How about that new running back they found? What's his name? Blunt?
Oh, yeah, and how about him? He's sending an email to the Patriots during the week before the game where he walked off, asked them if he gets cut, would they pick him up?
Oh, is that a
you
fact?
think there's some little hanky-panky going there?
There might have been, huh?
Slightly.
Slightly.
That's unbelievable.
It really is. He looked good yesterday, though. He had like 70-some yards.
Well, number one, they got a line in front of him.
Well, yeah, we're supposed to.
Well, yeah, we're always supposed to.
Our guy had.
How many years is this? That we patch him up or do this and that.
Our guy went over 200 on Monday night. The line must have done a decent enough job there. Of course, pass blocking they didn't do. So.
Yeah. I know he went over 200, but boy, if you watch some of his runs, a lot of it was him. Being patient, in the pit there, and looking for his, holes or alleys or whatever you want to call them, and he did a heck of a job there. But it isn't always like that,
No.
Well, what's the scouting report on the Saints game coming up? What do you think?
What, New Orleans?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's two teams. You don't know who's going to show up.
No.
Because they've acted pretty much.
Now, the Saints are usually just bad on the road and not at home.
Yeah.
Now this year they've added on being bad at home. The winner of
Yeah.
that division is going to be like 5-11 or 6-10.
Right. So it's anymore. It's a coin toss with the Steelers. You don't know who's going to show up.
No, there's no reason to try to predict it. There really
No,
isn't.
you don't know who feels like playing, who don't feel like.
I mean, they looked terrible for 3 quarters Monday night, and then
they looked
and that
awful.
fourth quarter might have been the best quarter they played all year. When they went down 11 points late in the third quarter, the Titans ran 6 offensive plays the rest of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens?
Well, the Titans stink, but they stink, but they were good enough to be winning by 11 points with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Right. It makes you wonder.
It does.
All of a sudden, what do we flip a switch? And I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, hey, let's
Like Pip used to say, that's why they play the games. It gives us a
that's
reason
for
to
sure.
watch.
Now, did you watch any of the games? Well, 2 of the games of the playoffs, the high school playoffs.
I did. I watched, and I did yesterday. Caught the fourth quarter of the Central Valley West Allegheny game
That's
on
what
replay.
I caught too.
Which was a great game, by the way. That Whitehead's such a good player. Why is he coming to Pitt? It doesn't make any sense.
I have no idea. How about the kid from Clarion? He's a sophomore.
Oh, the kid that had 4 interceptions?
Yeah, 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Right after the game, Penn State offered him a scholarship.
Yeah, they did. And you wonder what they were thinking of before that. But, I mean, you talk about athletes. They have so many good players. Bill Cherpak is the coach at Thomas Jefferson and AAA school, and he's won a lot. Not the last 5 years or so, but, I mean, he's been one of the best coaches. And he told me one time, that there were rumors that they may close Clairton down because they had closed Duquesne and some of these other schools. And I said, so what's the story? I said, where would those kids go? He says, I said, where would those kids go? And what school would they be allotted to? He goes, I don't know. He goes, but I only need about 4 of them.
That's right. Just give me 4, they can have the rest.
Exactly. And he said, in other words, he wanted to pick his 4, and then, but they do border TJ, so he would get some of them. And,
You know what? I was watching an Aliquippa game, all right? You see them to get humble like they did?
Yep.
I mean, undefeated, powerhouse, and then then you think about our teams around here and what chance.
And I'll tell you, and I saw Highlands every game, and we talked about it, Tony, that, if they'd have been healthy, I think they would have had a chance to beat Seton LaSalle, and they almost did anyway.
Yeah.
But they were just too beat up to be,
sure.
to be in that game. But after that, I'm sorry. I mean, Apollo Ridge, God bless them. What a great, exciting team they have. But, when you're talking Aliquippa and you're talking the team that South Fayette's had the last couple of years, it's, everybody else was playing for third.
And that's right. You're right. An amazing part. Highlands had 66 players, right?
Bunch, yeah. In the 60s.
Just think if they didn't have that depth.
Well, I'll tell you what, and it was very important, and they built a lot of it through the season too, which will come in handy for them next year when a lot of those kids graduate.
Right.
Here's the best thing about South Fayette: their coach used to coach Riverview, and now he's gone on to South Fayette to win Whitfield Championship. So it's funny how that all works.
Yeah.
Tony, have
crazy,
a nice Thanksgiving, by the way. We are late for break, but we do appreciate your call.
Thanks, Tony. Have a great turkey day.
Guys, you have a great one.
Yes.
All right.
Bob, easy on the turkey and the stuffing. All right.
Easy on the stuffing.
Easy on the stuffing.
All right, guys, you have a great holiday, and we'll talk to you Monday.
All right.
Deal.
All right, Pilgrim.
Thanks,
Tony.
Bye.
All right, Pilgrim, he says.
Well, that is, by the way, this has been a great month for John Wayne Westerns on the Westerns channel. They had, I forget the total amount, but the black and whites from the 30s mixed in with those from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s.
They hold up the Disney movies.
It kept me busy for the month of November.
Yes, I'm going to say, I bet they did.
Folks, we got to take a break, and when we come back, I think we're going to be joined by Paul from our studio audience. So, folks, get ready. We'll be back right after this. Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with a 4th generation. The Resevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold, and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Visit 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse in Murraysville for low discount pricing and a huge variety of inventory that changes weekly. We have everything from new name brand furniture and mattresses to tools, automotive supplies, utility trailers, pet supplies, and all season merchandise. Plus, our lawn and garden center has the best variety of seasonal plants, shrubs, mulch, and more. It's all under one roof at discount prices. 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse is open Tuesday through Sunday in Murraysville. Call us or visit shop380.com.
And folks, if you've got the hungries for some pizza, let me suggest Mattio's Pizza and Subs. They're located on Broadview Boulevard in Brackenridge Heights, and you can call them at 724-904-7312. Great pizzas, great ingredients is what really makes it all happen. Mattio's with hand-tossed pizzas, their gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and lots more. Give them a call. Okay. We have Paul in our studio audience here tonight. By the way, for those of you contemplating on calling the program, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to win, go to my website, doubledribblebob.com, and get the answers to the trivia questions on the website. Okay? Let's go to Paul. Paul, good evening.
Hey, how are you today?
Yeah, we're doing good, I
Happy
guess.
Thanksgiving.
Same to you, sir. and
You
your
getting ready
family.
for Thanksgiving?
Yes. So, can't believe it's here already.
It kind of does fly.
I'm
Right.
watching those TV shows where they're showing the different preparations, and I love the. In fact, I think Larry Richard was talking this morning on KD
Okay.
about doing one that he's going to deep fry.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'd set the house on fire.
Well, most people do it in the garages.
Yeah,
So-
but believe me, you get a gust of wind like today. No, I'm cooking it in the oven, thanks.
Do they still have the turkey bowl at Highlands on Thanksgiving morning?
They might. We used to have one at Burl too, but we'd play it on
I
Friday.
know on Burl, yeah.
We play it on Friday.
Yeah, because when I used to live in the Heights, 9 o'clock every Thanksgiving.
be up there.
They'd be up there. I just wonder if they continue.
question.
It was either flag football or tag, right?
Oh no.
No. It was
Oh, come on.
Oh no. That would be tackle.
Well, was this the second year in a row all 4 champions at Heinz Field were 13-0?
I don't know if it was or not, but
I believe last year they all 4.
I know that they were all undefeated this year, and
Right.
And we got to the semifinals with all the defending champions still alive.
Right.
And that ended in the semifinals because North Catholic lost. But Avonworth was a surprise getting there. That 1959 was the last time that happened. So Eisenhower was president.
Right.
But
But can I ask you guys a question?
All right.
If a football team plays 9 weeks regular season, then they get into the WPIAL playoffs, and let's not say they get the bye. They start right out and play and continue winning. If they go all the way to the state championship game,
16.
16-0 if they win
16 and
that.
0. And that's why South Fayette.
are we crazy or
Then,
South
what?
Fayette's
then if you include the 2 scrimmages, it's 18.
South Fayette's won all 16 games last year, and have won their first, and they're 12 and 0. Is that what it is? Or 13? 9 and 4 is 13, and they're 13.
Yeah.
So they've won 29 in a row.
Wow.
And now they'll go on to the state playoffs this
Quarters,
weekend.
semis, and finals.
You play 4.
I'm sorry.
You got to play 4 playoff games to get to 13, and now you have to play 3 more to win the state.
What's the longest winning streak in WPI?
Well, it's Clareton, and it was just recently, and I'm not.
Right,
I can't
60,
remember.
yeah.
It's in the 60s. They beat
Right.
the old North Braddock record from Chuck Clousing days
Right.
back in the 50s.
Right, that's right.
Chuck
And it-
Clousing, did he coach up at
He coached.
Slippery Rock?
He
or
may
was
have, but he was around and still around supposedly. Still makes his presence.
What about WPIL basketball? Is there like the longest winning streak for that?
Great question. I'm not sure. That would be. You would need George here for that
How
one.
about Farrell?
Yeah, I would say a girls team would have the all around record.
A girls
North
team.
Catholic.
A girls
Yeah.
North Catholic when they would win every single year.
Right.
Remember the boys team? Don Graham was the coach.
Oh, God.
He looked like Punky Brewster's dad.
Or caretaker, I should say.
Yeah, I remember, never forget that. He looked like, and he stuck around long enough, and he was well into his 70s and maybe even his 80s. He stuck around long enough that he wanted to coach his grandson.
Right.
And just about the time that his grandson had just about reached 8th grade, the dad got a job and they had to move to Philadelphia.
Oh, my.
And he never had a chance to coach him. And that kid went on to play at St. Joe's. Matt Carroll was his name. He was a really, really good player.
Right.
And Coach Graham didn't get a chance to coach him. And I'll never forget the first time I got sent over to get their lineups off the guy. I was scared to death because it was like, oh my goodness. He was sitting over there all by himself and he looked so regal. And I'm like,
Long-legged.
yeah, I said, I don't think he wants me to bother him right now, watching the JV game going on. But he was really nice.
Who was the coach at Farrell when they had that big winning streak going? Farrell would play up every year.
I'm thinking Eddie McCluskey, but that was
That's okay.
yeah, that was football, right? Yeah.
Well, names start to come together
Yeah.
after decades. You wonder. How about Don Hennon at Wampum? He played for his dad.
He did.
Played for his dad.
Yeah. Speaking of St. Joe's, the girls team, Heinley. Did she graduate or
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, she's
She
graduated.
graduated.
2 years ago, I think. Or is it just last
No,
year?
no, no.
Last
she
year, she
played
played
last
last
Yeah,
year.
she played last year.
So what are they expecting?
Her
to
dad's
go?
a character, by the way, Brian. It's an
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went to school.
Interesting
Yeah,
guy.
he was a year, I believe, ahead of me in St. Joe's.
Interesting guy, Brian.
Oh,
Yeah.
you a St. Joe's grad?
Yes, you knew.
St. Joe's got mentioned on the Fan this morning. John Bridge got brought into the conversation.
Oh,
And
gosh.
so we're protective of John, and they were talking about the fact that Pine Richland had gone to Ohio, the students, and bought a live ram to bring to the game on Friday. Now this
What a live ram.
now Mr. Gillette had done this at Highlands in 2008. We had a live ram. Okay, now the students had done this and brought the ram, and they had put it on a farm, and they had somebody watch it the night before. And when they went back to get it Friday morning before the game, it had escaped. Or somebody let it go, or somebody, I don't know what the story was, but they didn't have their, do those kids think they were going to get a ram into Heinz Field? You can't even bring like your mom into Heinz Field without going through metal detectors. I don't know how in the world they were going to get a ram through security. But so they're discussing this on the Fan this morning, and they said, I don't think Bridge would be the guy that would say, we can't do this. But Jim Collin, he had it right. He says, oh no, he goes, he's from up there. He went to St. Joe's, which is right across the parking lot from Highlands, so he would have known how to get it done. So there you go.
By the way, his brother took a picture that was in the paper either this morning or Sunday.
Okay.
It was probably this morning. And I think it was front page. A very young girl singing in church. And it was so precious. My wife said, look at this. And I had to agree. Fantastic.
Jason Bridge, he's terrific. And Eric Felak, who we know very well.
Right.
The talent that these guys have and ladies that take the pictures for the newspaper, the photographers are just outstanding. And we run into a lot of them. We see them especially during basketball season and football season.
Yes.
At the different facilities. And I mean, they're great. And they, Paul, I had a question for you.
Yes.
And this is something that we discussed before the show started, and I think it's interesting. That the last game on Friday, they started at 11.
Yes.
The last game wasn't finished until about 11:55, nearly midnight. Have they outgrown playing 4 games at Heinz Field, considering how the length of the day, or do they need to start? Do they have to start the first game at 10 o'clock, or
Right.
the games? And Bob knows this because we have time constraints on our games. The games are just longer.
They are.
The games are longer. There's so much passing, and there's more plays. The games are longer, and especially in a championship game, that these coaches aren't going to, try to speed it up. They're trying to win the championship.
Exactly.
They're going to take as much time as they need to.
You don't look at your watch.
No, they're not looking at their watch. And have we outgrown that? Do we need to start spreading this out to play maybe 2 days or use different venue? The kids, they want to play there. The kids want to play there, and I think it presents a problem.
Right. Yeah, I would vote playing 2 games a day. That's what Hershey does, like for the state football games.
Right. They go 2 on Friday and then 2 on Saturday.
Two
If
on
you-
Saturday.
If you could book the building for that.
Right.
There's
nothing else.
But here's the problem: does the Whippeal want to fork out the cash
Right.
to the Roonies to rent the stadium for 2 days, which is really what this would be then, rather than running it for 1 day.
Right.
And Pitt comes into play. This year Pitt had a Saturday game.
Right.
And the Pitt schedule's made first, and they got to go around that. So it's
Yeah.
you wonder. And how'd they do it in the old days, Bob? They would mix it up. They play at
Gosh.
Pitt Stadium some,
And you know what? It's been so
or
long.
move maybe
Mike.
the smaller classifications
I'm
around.
trying to remember, like, the game in which Burrell won the championship back in the mid-'80s, that 3-0 game
Was it
that
Three
they
Rivers?
had.
Then they
Three
beat
Rivers.
Washington, I think, for a title too, right?
Yeah, they beat Washington in the '95 season. And the '86 season was.
But
at,
I honestly don't remember that day because
There
I
were 4 games.
broadcast
You're
the
right, you-
game.
you guys did the
How
game.
many games were there?
There were all
I
4.
really don't.
There were all 4.
All 4 of them?
There were all
Okay.
4, and both times Burrow's won. There's been all 4.
Right.
They started doing that, I believe, in '83, maybe.
So I did look that up a
And
few days ago. in
Yeah,
83.
and they, and they've been doing it ever since. The kids love it. It's every team, every good team you've ever been around. Heinz. They show up that first day of camp in the summertime when it's 1,000 degrees and they want to go to Heinz Field. That's what it's all about.
For the fan, they can do it all in one day.
And it's-
if you want to catch games 2, 3, and 4, or 1, 2, and 3, however you want it, I mean,
Right.
you don't have to travel twice.
And for $10, you can't beat it.
For all day.
Yeah,
For the whole
$10
package.
for all day. You can't beat it. But you just start to wonder. It went so long, and I love the Penguins, but I hate the fact that all the games couldn't have been on live. I just think that's a shame. They need to find. Root needs an extra spillover channel or something where they can.
Yeah, you need to talk.
Route
Yeah, you need to
2.
talk to my buddy about that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we'll spell it this way, ROOTTOO.
Right,
Route 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Paul, we got to do trivia. So.
Okay. And one more thing, I think if they didn't have the games there Friday, I think Heinz Field would have got the Bills-Jets game tonight.
It was possible.
Yeah.
But here was the problem. The problem was they had to resod.
Right.
After those 4 games, and then Pitt played Saturday, it takes a week for that sod to set. So
Right.
they were there immediately when the Pitt game was over Saturday night. They worked all night Saturday tearing the old field out and putting a new one in.
Right.
So if there was turf in there
how
like there,
expensive that is.
if there was turf in there like there should be, then we wouldn't have this problem.
All right, I'll take multiple choice, please.
All right. Michael, why don't you get him started?
Sure. Come on, Paul. Let's have a winner here. I have every confidence. Who was the first African American to be a starting quarterback in the modern National Football League? The first African American to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Was it Joe Gilliam, Woody Strode, Willie Thrower, or Kenny Washington?
I'll say the first one, Joe Gilliam.
That is absolutely correct, Paul. We have a winner. Joe Gilliam in
Okay.
1973
Woohoo.
started the season because the Steelers, he had come in afterwards. That was the year that Bradshaw out. They couldn't make up their
Yeah.
mind. And then he was a starter for the 74 season. He started the first game because there was a strike.
Right,
And
the
what
guys
a,
that,
and
you know,
what a
came
shame
in.
the way things ended up where the guy
right.
just was
Yeah, very much a shame.
lying in the streets of Nashville, and a pity. Paul, thank you very
you.
much,
Thank you.
folks. It's break time. When we come back, we're going to have
Mark.
Mark on the line with us.
Hang in there, Mark.
Haven't spoken to Mark in a couple of weeks, so that's coming up right after this.
Phillips Lounge on 4th Avenue in Arnold has Bud Light drafts for just $1.50 during all Steelers games. Bud Light drafts, just $1.50. Stop by Phillips in Arnold and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
What is it that makes a Husqvarna dealer a Husqvarna dealer? Well, just look close at the engineering in our outdoor power equipment. We're known for high performance and reliability in everything we make. So is it any wonder your Husqvarna dealer is also known for high performance and reliability in everything they do? With a nationwide network of Husqvarna dealers, there's one just around the corner.
Woo's Pub on Freeport Road in New Kensington has $2 Bud Light bottles during all Steelers games. Stop by Woo's Pub on Freeport Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
3 indoor showrooms show it all off at Tower Auto Sales. It's a full-service facility with an experienced staff. And as far as their pre-owned vehicles, all makes and models are obtainable, and they do feature Lexus products. Talk to the guy who knows the market, and that's Mike Fanteau at 412-828-6202. Okay, back, and we've got Mark on the line. Mark, welcome back. Thank you
good
for
evening,
tuning
fellas.
in.
Good evening.
Hi.
No, I had couple of events, funeral home visit, and my wife's doctor stopped for prescription, so I couldn't make it in the past couple Mondays.
Okay.
Hey, did they ever think for high school, I know they're only 12-minute quarters, but like in the college or pros, maybe after they mark the ball back in, if they go out of bounds, start the clock again until maybe you get down to 5 or 6 minutes in each quarter, to speed them up a little bit, or would that mess up the integrity of the game?
They've done that in both college and pro, and that didn't used to be the case. And they wait till 5 minutes in the the last 5 minutes of the game and the last 2 minutes of the first half that they'll just leave the clock stopped. And in college, it's 2 minutes and 2 minutes. But it's a thought, and if they actually want to, let's put it this way: I haven't noticed an appetite to speed it up. The only people I think that notice it or are really, or I wouldn't even say complaining. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just pointing it out. Are really media members, guys that especially newspaper guys that have to get their stories in, and probably the 11 o'clock news guys. Because these games are really now. The one thing they've done to address it, Mark, is most of the games are played at 7 o'clock now. It used to be 7:30, and heck, Bob, it used to be 8 o'clock. I mean, but now they've gone backwards to 7:30, and now most of the games are at 7. So at least they're starting earlier. But the actual time of the game is. I mean, you're nearing. If you get a 3-hour game, it's not that much of a surprise.
Yeah. What year
was it, Mike, that they started for the NFL with the out-of-bounds clock?
Boy, that's been a while. They did the games that were starting to get out of hand, and everything was going well over 3 hours, and they really shortened it up pretty well with those rules. It's at least 20 years ago. It's at least in the 90s.
Now that was before the college then.
Right. They did. The pros did it first, and then college did it second. College games are ridiculous. Those games, if you get out of there in 3.5 hours, you're doing good. It's amazing how long college games are.
That's with the clock going. Yeah,
Well, the halftimes too. You got to remember this. NFL halftimes.
They're longer.
Yeah, NFL halftimes are only 12 minutes, and the college halftimes are 20.
High school's 2.5 times.
yeah. High school, it's a half an hour, but I understand they want to get the bands in. I'm okay with that, but just the actual pace of play. And now everybody wants to speed it up and go hurry up offense, and everybody's throwing it around. And the difference in high school is that the talent level of the quarterbacks isn't what it is at the higher levels, and there are just so many more incomplete passes. The game just doesn't go. And you stop the clock to move the chains, which at the high school level you have to do it because you don't have professional chain guys over there, and you need to make sure that they're marked correctly.
And Mark, this could all be changed by going back to the way they used to do it. I'm going to say probably up in somewhere into the 80s. On a punt or after a punt and after an interception or a fumble recovery by the other team, they would keep the clock rolling. So if my team punted the ball to your team,
they put it down.
And after the tackle was made, whether it's, no matter where on the field, the clock kept running.
Yeah, they wanted to. I noticed that. Then
a few years back,
they
changed it all, and suddenly the games are getting longer.
Well, what they found when they changed to that it went too fast.
And what about the NFL? The clock doesn't start like on a kickoff till the guy catches it. Years ago, unless there was 2 minutes to go in each half,
it started when he kicked it.
As soon as they kicked it, you could see the clock starting to tick down.
Yeah.
Now and then they kick them out of bounds, so that it never started. So there's another minute by the time they mark it back in. I mean, if you want to change a little bit.
Yeah, extra point, commercial, kickoff, touchback, another commercial.
I noticed on these commercial too. What year did they start 30-second timeout? The ref will announce it.
Well, that's just recently to speed things up. And you'll have that at the end of the half when when those are when they've already used up all the ads.
Yeah, for the I noticed the referee.
You'll notice that this is a 30-second timeout. They don't send it off then.
Yeah. You'll see the ref looking at the sideline, the guy with the orange hand.
The guy with the orange hat and the orange gloves, the oven mitts on over there, trying to speed things up or slow it down. There is nothing more frustrating than when you're at a game and you sit there and it's like, okay, and you look and you get trained now. You have to look over for that guy and just hope he doesn't walk on the field. And then here he goes. It's like, oh, great. And then that gives you, 3 minutes to check your phone and make sure everything's all right in the world. It's unbelievable.
And then one more thing. What happened to Tony's Notre Dame the past couple of weeks? They've been blowing the last games crazily.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to hear that.
I don't know if he called tonight since I don't have the computer.
Things aren't good there.
He did.
Everett Golson's turned into a turnover machine, one.
Well, yeah, I wanted to call a couple of weeks ago. I said I couldn't that Monday, that Northwestern game. All he had to do virtually is kneel down and kill the clock. He runs it off guard or tackle. The guy fumbled the ball, and Northwestern had a chance and came back.
And all he had to do before that was kick an extra point instead of go for two.
That's what I mean.
Really
I don't understand. I wonder, Kelly, is he getting crazy in his older age now or what?
I don't know, but kicking an extra point would have been a good idea against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Northwestern waits to lose those games. That's the kind of games that Northwestern loses in overtime, and at the end they play it tough, and it's like they're basically Pitt. They play well and then they let you down at the end. It's kind of the same.
Same at West Virginia too. The way they've folded the last 3 games.
Well, I'm just not convinced that Holgerson knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean they had what article in a paper? How many million he gets? 3 million something.
Yeah, he's well paid.
Yeah, to be a loser.
That's a tough conference though. That's the only thing I'll say. You're playing in a Big 12. You got to play ranked teams a lot And then, you get off of playing 2 ranked teams. You go down to Texas, who nobody's paying attention to. But Texas is playing good football, and they've turned it around a little bit. Their defense is really good, and that's a tough game. And they've blown games at home that they had in their hip pocket that they could have won, and they just played
because they share in that Big 12 pie for the end of the season. Like the bowl games, they get a percentage. So maybe they figure they're going to still make out.
Yeah, they will, and they'll beat Iowa State. They'll end up 7-5, which I guess
I just hope Pitt has a chance against Miami to at least get some kind of bowl.
Yeah, I don't think they have any. Even though Miami is only 6-5, I don't see how Pitt has any chance to win that game. I really don't. They've already blown their chance to. As we said earlier, if you consider that a reward, being 6-6 and going to a bowl game.
Well, I guess I better go for the multiple choice.
Okay.
All right, Bob.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. Question number 3 in rotation for Mr. Mark here tonight. And here we go. Football is the topic. What quarterback threw the most touchdown passes playing for the most teams? Okay? And I'll tell you what, this guy played with a bunch. Dave Craig, Kerry Collins, Steve DeBerg, Vinny Testaverde.
How about what was the third one? Was the third one Steve Craig?
No, Dave Craig.
Dave Craig.
Dave Craig?
Yes.
No, I'll tell you who it was. Vinny Testaverde. He threw 275 touchdown passes playing for 7 different teams.
Wow, 7.
7 teams.
And he completed many passes to Darren Perry. Unfortunately, he was playing for the Steelers at the time.
And you know what? I think his name, my neighbors are Italian. I think his name literally means greenhead.
It might, yes.
Verde is green and Testa is head. So I think it's literally be like greenhead or greenwood, greenhead. But yeah, I think that's what my neighbors said.
He was
they
on.
used to like him out of Miami years ago.
When he was at the Jets, Letterman had him on at Christmas time, and Letterman has the Christmas tree with the big meatball on top.
Yeah.
And and his goal was to take the footballs and knock the meatball off of the top of the Christmas tree.
I remember that. Yeah.
He couldn't do it. He threw like 100 of them and couldn't do it. So Jay Thomas, who you might remember, DJ in LA, who was on Cheers, who played Eddie LeBeck.
Yeah.
He came out he walked out of the green room. He was just so upset. He walked out of the green room, grabbed one football, threw it up there, knocked the meatball off, completely embarrassed Testaverde, and walked off the stage. And now Letterman's have him back every show before Christmas to do that.
Yeah. Okay, you fellas have a good holiday. Hopefully I can call next week.
You got
it,
Mark.
Sir.
Okay,
Happy
thank
Thanksgiving
you.
to you.
Bye-bye.
All right, appreciate that. Break time, and the final break is coming up. When we come back, it'll be loose ends to chat about here in the program. Stay with us.
I have money. We can talk about money. You want to talk about money?
Yeah.
I have some money to talk about.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, baseball money, but not how you think.
All right. Back in a flash. Stay with us. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better.
Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store. We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more.
You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
All right, folks, welcome back. Our number, in case you want to call in, 724-236-0430. Before you get to your topic, I don't know where my mind is. I'm talking to Mike during the break about the high school football kickoffs. Mm-hmm. When I started back in the 1960s, and I'm saying 64, 65, whatever the year was.
Back when I was a baby.
8 o'clock was the kickoff. It has since moved to 7:30, and I could not remember what it was this past year. 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock. As a matter of fact, and George had this note, that the majority of the games are at 7 o'clock now. More games are at 7 than are at 7:30. And in the greater Allegheny, which is AAA, and they started this a couple of years ago, they started 7 o'clock, and they kept it. And then Highlands moved into the Allegheny, and I'm going to guess that Coach Albert and some of the others brought that up, that 7 o'clock is a good idea, especially when there's a big travel, when some of the schools are far away. But, we were talking about that. What's funny is that the basketball games haven't gotten any longer at all. The basketball games are about the same length as they've always been. That has not changed. That high school basketball game has not gotten any longer. The play hasn't changed enough. There's more points. More people shoot three-pointers, but the games don't take any longer.
I do have one pet peeve about high school basketball, and even if I were in attendance as a fan instead of a broadcaster, when a player commits a personal foul, and Mike, I was not a star athlete, but I did play some.
I've heard you were good.
High school basketball, and when the referee said foul on number whatever I had,
raised your hand.
Isn't it amazing I can't remember.
Remember your own number.
The player had to raise his hand, and
Everybody.
the official score knew who it was. Everybody in the bleachers knew, and if the game was being broadcast,
the announcer knew who it was.
Right. So, for whatever reason, and I believe it was at the time when psychology experts were saying, we don't want these kids to have to admit to guilt, okay? So the referee will go over and tell them, but nobody's going to raise their hand, What is the doggone problem?
That would save a lot of problems, because there's still a lot of mix-ups. Even to this day, there were a lot of mix-ups when it comes to that. And now, a lot of places, a lot of gyms have really nice scoreboards and really good scoreboard operators, and everything's up there, and you have...
Not all the time.
But
where I am.
Well, and all the places, not all the time, because you know what? Sometimes they just don't get the information, and the book guys, which is official, what's on the board doesn't matter. It's what the guy writes in the home book is the only thing that matters.
You remember Uniontown? Cost them a game?
Yes, Deuce. But so think about that. Yeah, but you don't have that anymore, and that can be. It can get confusing, and I know halftime you're always running down to the book to make sure you check your files to make sure that you have everything right. If you're not at the score, even if you are at the scorer's table, you may not have it. So, okay, I have a number for you.
Yeah, please.
When the Pirates won the World Series in 1960,
winning share.
Do you have an idea? The shares came out today for what the guys got for
35,000.
Was $8,418.
Oh, was I off?
The Yankees loser share was $5,215. Now, the point being But that was really important to these guys because to a lot of them, that pretty much doubled what they made.
Right.
That was a...
Because the minimum wage in baseball, which came in the 40s, was, gosh, 4,000, whatever.
It's 500.
And years later, it never changed.
Yeah. Well,
that was the minimum.
They had them over a barrel. It's 500,000 now.
500,000
is the minimum.
Is the minimum.
Is the minimum.
Okay.
Okay.
So the winning share for
the
this year's
the
World
San
Series-
Francisco Giants this year is $388,605. That's the winning share for winning the World Series. The Royals. Each player. That's a full share. They voted 47 full shares. Now you know that's to more people. You get a pool and you split it up. The pool for the winners was $22 million. That's just for the winners of the World Series. $22 million. Split it as you see fit. Now the Royals were the losers, and the Royals got $230,000 a man. Now, I want to drag you
That's $250,000.
I want to drag you all the way down to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates lost the wild card game, which is the lowest possible rung you can get as a postseason team.
But you do share.
By the way, we're very happy that the Pirates made the playoffs and were able to lose the wild card game. I am not complaining about that, but here's the point. $16,555 was a share for losing the wild card game. When they won the World Series in 1960, they doubled that, $8,000. That's amazing.
It is.
And people think there's no money.
It is.
The Red Sox today signed Hanley Ramirez, who actually started his career with them before he was traded to Florida, and was with the Dodgers to a 4-year, $88 million contract. He's going to play shortstop for them. Well, they figured he needed somebody to be his buddy over there on the left side of the infield. So the Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval from the Giants, fresh off of just getting $388,000 for winning the World Series, signed a 5-year, $100 million contract with the Red Sox to play third base. So the Red Sox today spent $188 million today. Here's for the 3 rooms of carpeting and the gift selection from the Spiegel catalog. What is the most money, the largest free agent contract the Pirates have ever signed in total dollars?
Wasn't it to the catcher?
It was to Russell Martin. Not the $82 million he just got last week. $17.5 million.
Oh my gosh.
Is the largest contract the Pirates have ever signed a player.
This is 11 times almost.
Right, and the Red Sox today doled out $188 million.
All I wanted for Christmas.
It's a different ball game, especially when and all I'm here to tell you is the money's there. They could have signed Russell Martin if they wanted.
I can remember a story of Billy Martin with the Yankees, and when he first joined the team, and he was kind of a wise, cocky kid, and everybody knew it.
I love Billy Martin.
And this is his rookie year. And when he walks out into basic training and starts showing off a little bit, one of the Yankees, it could have been Mantle, who wasn't there much longer than he was anyway.
Right, yeah.
Said, "Don't screw up my series money.
That's right.
You better play it straight in this ball club."
Then you
and
figured,
he tried to set him straight right from the start.
Maybe $8,000 or $7,000, and that was very important.
Amazing.
Hey, the wives had that money spent. That was fur coats.
Oh.
That was Christmas.
The
Because you see, it
second
comes
car.
out now.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on your world championship. Here's $388,000.
And that's why. Could it be some of the wives don't complain
when
they're beaten?
It used to be that was a big deal. They would bring that up all the time, and it was well publicized how much they made. And I hadn't seen that in years. When I saw that today, I was really surprised to see it, and it's like, wow. Business picking up a little.
Let's wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving Day, okay? See you next week at the same time. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.